I knew I was a natural storyteller. I knew I had a story in me. I just didn't know how I wanted to get it out. I've always been a writer. It's something I've always done. I used to write poetry as a kid. I took writing classes all the time. So I knew words were in me and I knew how to write. I just didn't know that my story was something I would want to write. And so I was speaking with Sam. Sam has been a mentor in my life for a long time. And I was just telling her bits and pieces of my life as we got to know each other. And she said to me, she said, this is a story that would reach a lot of people. And I knew that was the case. I just didn't know how I wanted to tell it or if I was ready to tell it. And hearing it from her and how even what I've shared in these small bits and snips have helped her in her life and raising her kids and things like that, it was just an honor to hear that. And you know, it convinced me that there are other people who needed to hear what I had to say. And so thinking about my story and about my life, it's impossible for me to be the only one. Statistically, impossible for me to be the only one who had the experiences I had. And that only convinced me further that my story needed to be told. To give other people the space to feel seen, to feel heard. So how has writing my book changed everything for me? It's allowed me to connect on a deeper level. It's allowed me to remind myself that I'm not alone. It's allowed me to become an even bigger space for folks who need some place to go. I always tell people, I've got a lot of family members, a lot of little cousins. And I want them to see me as the place that they can go to when they need to just vent or talk or share. I want to be that safe space. So since writing the book, I've created an entire course, the Claiming Your Power, a Self-Love and Confidence course, to uplift not only just Black women, but everybody who needs a boost in confidence. Because it's something you practice every day. It's not natural. You've got to pay attention to what works for you and turn that into being the most confident version of yourself. And how does my book connect to confidence? Well, it's called Dear Black Girl, Let Me Hold Your Pain. You can't claim your power if your hands are full. So that's why it's called the Claiming Your Power, a Self-Love and Confidence course. I took a small part of the book and turned it into something greater. And all of that comes back to Lucky Book. I took a small part of my story and turned it into something greater. They gave me the platform to do that. They gave me the guidance to do that. On another note, I've also created an entire business. This writing and authoring and speaking is all new to me. And so I was entered into a new world with authors and speakers and vendor markets and all these things. And it was a world I didn't see before writing my book. And now I am a co-founder of an event business that hosts and runs vendor markets for up and coming authors. It's a niche that I found isn't well served. So I've taken up the mantle to do that myself. And it's about focusing on the new authors, the smaller authors, the ones that aren't getting paid $10,000 speaking gigs yet. I want to be the first place to get them the speaking gig. They can practice on my stage, make all the mistakes they need so that they're ready to pick up the phone. All of that is because of lessons Lucky Book taught me. Tell your story. It sounds really simple, sounds maybe cliche or basic, but it is so important. Everyone has a story. Nothing is superficial. Nothing. If it's about the first time you made a grilled cheese sandwich, I can tell you there's something important about that grilled cheese sandwich. The way it felt, the way the toasted bread smelled, the cheese you chose, and why you chose that cheese. Everything in your life is important no matter how small. So tell your story. That is the number one piece of advice I have received from Lucky Book Publishing. And that is the number one piece of advice I will be passing on from here until forever. It would be this: the only person you need to care for is yourself. It's hard to wrap around that idea, and it's complex, so I'm going to break it down. Being selfish is the best gift you can give yourself. You cannot possibly be there for all the people you need to be there for if you don't take care of yourself. And that's not just, taking a bubble bath or doing your skincare, doing your makeup. Those are great. But it's deeper than that. You need to make sure you're good. You need to give yourself the exact same amount of attention, care, respect, and love that you give to everyone else. Because if you don't, you are not going to show up the way you want to. So please be selfish. Please think of yourself first, if that is how you want to show up for others. My book, Dear Black Girl, Let Me Hold Your Pain, has given me so much clarity on my signature talk and my message. I never saw myself as, the inspiration. I knew I was inspirational, but I never saw myself as the inspiration. There's a difference. Now, post writing my book and becoming a confidence guide because of writing my book, I am the inspiration. And that is my message. Take your confidence in strides. It comes in many forms, and you are the expert of your experience, your story, your life. Everyone needs you. And once you start to believe that, so will everyone else. And then they can't resist you. All of that came from writing my book, came from chronicling my life. People always ask me, how am I so sure of myself? How am I so confident as I am today? And it's because I took the time to acknowledge all of the hardship, all of the pain, all the doubt, the shame, the negative thoughts I had of myself. I took the time to honor that, acknowledge it, and let it go. All of these messages build my signature talk. And that came from writing my book. That came from meeting Samantha and Samar. And that came from them believing in me and seeing a story in me.